So all right, so we've uncovered the need as far as why they mailed the card in. Okay. So the next thing is I give a little more detailed description of what I do and how I can help them. Okay. So after they say, okay, well, I don't have anything in place for my final expenses, I say, okay, great. Well, let me tell you a little bit about what we do. We have the unique ability that we work with the top-rated programs here in the state of Indiana. So what we do is we kind of cross-check and find the best program for you specifically. You know, there's probably 250 programs here in the state, and all those things, all those companies ask different questions, and they weigh things differently. You know, depending on, male, female, if you're tobacco use, some carriers, don't ever want you to have a heart attack. Some don't care if you had a heart attack 6 months ago. So all the ailments, prescriptions, they all weigh things differently. Now, obviously, the healthier you are, the lower the premiums are. But the important part is to find a company that's going to give you the most benefits for whatever you're going to be able to afford to spend every month. And that's what we do. So it's real easy nowadays. I go through, we get some information about you, and then I'm able to give you a recommendation of what the best program for you would be here in the state of Indiana. Okay? So let me ask you, and at some point I'll, I tell them, I've been doing this for 10 years or whatever. But it's a very brief. I don't talk a whole lot about personal things because, why? Because I put off I'm busy. I don't have time to talk. I am in demand. There's a lot of people that need this help. So I explained to them, that what we do is we're going to design a program that's specifically for you with your health in mind and the prescriptions that you take. And my job is to make sure that you get the most benefits for whatever amount of money that you put into your program. I don't really use insurance a lot. I do some, but a lot of times it's kind of a final expense program. I call them programs. Obviously, these programs are funded by life insurance companies. That's.
One thing, let me say there. We do have to make it clear that we're selling life insurance. We're selling life insurance policies. But when we talk about program, the program is the fact that we are there to assess their health and help guide them to whichever insurance company and insurance policy fits them the best. So we just have to make it clear to be legal. We are selling life insurance policies. We can't call the policy a program, but the program is our assistance, our guidance to guide them to the right policy.
When I talk about a program is a vehicle to pay for your final expenses. It's a portfolio. That's if they have $3,000 of life insurance from work, that's part of their program. The program to pay for their final expenses. Now, obviously, these are funded by life insurance companies. It's a life insurance policy. But it's part of a portfolio to take care of whatever their needs are. If part of that is maybe they have a term policy or a mortgage protection policy. I don't know. That may be part of their final expenses. Maybe part of their process is to take care of things after they're gone. But yeah, it's
part of their overall plan is what you're saying is what the program is. Okay.
So then I'll go right into, well, let me ask you, how is your health in general? And a lot of times you can tell if these folks are good health or bad health, or I don't know. So that just kind of is just to kind of open some dialogue there about the health. How's your health in general? Any heart attacks, cancer, strokes? Anything in the last 2 years, 5 years, and just kind of go from there. Any other major health issues, I'll follow up with that. And, I kind of go from there. Then I'll talk about, well, do you take any prescription drugs? you know, and then okay, can you? Oh yeah, I have a whole bunch of them I take. Okay, great. I need you to go get those. Do you have a list of those, or do you have them in a box? Or I'll need to see those. You know, that's another thing is, you know, I don't ask. You know, I need to see them. That's what you need to do. You need to uncover what prescriptions they take to be able to offer them the best program for them, so you can have some knowledge of what's going to work out for them.
Another good question right there, Travis, is what conditions are you taking the drugs for? You'll get them to tell you, you know, they have diabetes or they have depression or whatever conditions they're taking drugs for. You want to get that out in the open too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but the thing is, you got to get them to bring their pills to you first. So that's where so you need to tell them to go get their prescriptions. I need to see all the prescriptions that you take. Oh well, they're in that. Well, okay, I've got time. It only takes a couple minutes. I need to go do that. So you're gonna have to find out their pills, and then exactly what Scott was saying. Let's say bring you their pills, or they have a list from the pharmacy of what they take. You go through each one. Okay, so you got Norvasc. That's for what, blood pressure? Yeah. For most of the time they'll have them marked down, but you want to go through each one and kind of find out what they take each one, and that really gives you a good insight on their health. So let's say this lady's in good health and she would qualify for an immediate program. So then I have I say, okay, great. Well, you're in good shape, you know, or whatever, you know, go into. I say, well, let me explain to you how this works. And I have a laminated sheet, and we'll put these on the website, the one that I use. And like I said, you're welcome to change it or add to or whatever you want to do. So it's essentially I have a laminated sheet that I give them, a one-page sheet. Essentially, it's, you know, how these work. The first thing is essentially it's just the basic fundamentals of a whole life policy. You know, first day coverage. You know, you're immediately protected the very first day. You know, we talk about it doesn't matter how you die. You can die. There's natural death that pays, accidental death that pays. The only thing it wouldn't pay would be suicide. You know, but it wouldn't even pay for suicide after 24 months. You know, the premiums will never go up. Anyway, I just go through all that. I won't go through the whole thing now on this, but we just go through each of the guarantees, how it works, and the benefits of a whole life. And then the next thing I would go to is, okay, well, Mrs. Smith, let me tell you, the company that is going to be the best one for you is a company called 5-Star Life Insurance. And I pull out the 5-Star brochure. Now, let me tell you a little bit about 5-Star and why this is the best one for you. You know, first off, and I'll go through, and and whether it's 5-Star or Royal Neighbors or, you know, Marico, whomever, I think it's important to make sure you have, you know, brochures, memorial guides, those companies that send that boxes of stuff to you for free, okay? Any slick, cool marketing materials, I think it's important to have those in your bag. You know, one thing when you're selling insurance, it's a non-tangible purchase. You know, they're not really buying anything. You know, so it's nice that if you can leave them with, you know, if they can have some nice brochures or memorial guides, they make them feel like they're getting something. It makes it look more professional. You know, most of the carriers that we use, these folks have never heard of, so it does help build some credibility. You know, if you can, you know, have several marketing materials and spend a little bit of time as far as explaining to them about the company or the recommendation. You know, 5-Star, and I don't know if we want to go, you know, 5-Star, you know, this is why 5-Star would be good. First of all, let me tell you, they're an A-rated company. You know, we only work with A-rated companies. A company's rating is kind of like their fiscal stability, financially, how they are in their financials, and that's really important. And then go through, or whatever, you know, you talk about General Eisenhower, he started the company, you know, and why he started the company, and it's still like that today. You could talk about this, you know, it has the same benefits. Talk about the emergency death benefit. You know, that's the only company I know of in the country that offers that benefit. So I don't know, it's a time to kind of build some value in the recommendation and what you're showing them. So the next part would be going down to the close. And like I said, there's several different ways you can do this. But, I've been doing it this way for, I don't know, maybe 4 years. And I'll tell you what, it's helped with, I want to think about it, or I want to talk to my kids about, I don't know. I don't get those objections anymore. And it's simply because of this close. So the close that I use, okay, well, went over all the information, the company. Okay, Mrs. Smith, the most important piece of the puzzle is to make sure that we find something that's going to be affordable for you. We need to make sure it's sustainable, that you're going to be able to keep it, until you need it, or, whatever. So let me ask you this. If I'm able to build you a program to take care of all your final expenses, would $200 a month be something that would be affordable for you? And shut up. I don't know. And you'd be surprised. You'll have people that say, well, yeah, I probably could do that. $200 would be fine. Oh, no, heavens no. $200, there's no way I could afford that. Well, that's okay, because there's discounts and things available, and your program, we could build something that's not going to cost you that much. There's some things.
Travis, what amount do you start at now? Say you're in a house where obviously they're not affluent at all.
If they're low, very poor, I'll start at $100.
Okay.
If you could tell, it's very. $100 is the lowest I'll ever start with.
So poorest of the poor, $100 is your starting point. If it's a little bit more of a middle,
do it. But I don't want to start at $8. You know what I mean?
If it's a little more of a middle class house, then you start at $200. Is that right, or?
Right.
Okay.
200 or something. Yeah, around there. And obviously, I know going in there that $200 is essentially. I'm not trying to close them at $200. I'm just trying to recalibrate their thinking. If you start at $200 and $60 don't sound that bad, or $70 doesn't sound that bad, from 200.
Right.
But if you go in there and you start, here's your choices, and they're always going to pick out. You're always going to end up with $30 policies. So it's just essentially a way to kind of recalibrate their thinking, and bring them down from a number instead of bringing them. It's easier to go down and land them instead of driving them up. It's impossible. So, and at that point, I'll just kind of bring, well, that's okay. It won't cost you that much. We'll figure out something. And oh no, heavens no. And then I'll go down around. Well, let me ask you, I'll bring them down a couple times. Well, would maybe $100 be more affordable? No, that's probably way too much. That's okay. I understand. Like I said, that's why we do this. I want to make sure that we find something. I don't want to get you into a $100 program and you not be able to keep it. I want to make sure that this is something you're going to be able to maintain and keep. And then I'll bring them down. And then at some point I'll say, well, let me ask you, what would be affordable? If we can, well, I'd probably say somewhere maybe around $60. Okay, well, that's fine. So $60 would be something that you could sustain, and that wouldn't put a hurting on you in winter or anything like that. I kind of reaffirm. And the other thing, too, is a lot of times people will want more than what they can afford. And, the neat thing about this is, you can qualify today. So we can get you something started today. It may not be what you want, but it's something. And then, like I said, you get your credit card bill paid off, or whatever their obstacle is, or you did this, get some things paid off. You call me back, and we can add something to your program here, whatever you want to build. We can add some coverages at that point. So you can always add coverages later. It may not be with 5-star after they have a stroke and cancer. It may be with Gerber, but they can always add to it at some point. As long as they're qualify with the age. So so that's why you can always expand and flexible. The other thing too is if you get going in this and you can't afford it, call me and we can reduce your face amount, reduce your premiums to something. So that's the neat thing about these programs is, if you take it and you put it in your lockbox, it's never ever going to change. The only person that can make any changes to this is you. You're the one that's in control. So after I get down and say, well, I don't know, I could probably do around $60. And most of them will say $60, $65. So I'll look and say, okay, well, Mrs. Smith, with the premium that you've allowed me to work with, at $62.37, that's going to get you a $15,000 policy. Now, who would you like to leave the money to? And I've got, at that point, I've got the application out. I've got the application out when I showed them, the brochures and kind of explained to them about the company that would be the best one for them. And I just wait and listen. Who do you want? Who would be responsible to take care of those bills and things for you when you pass away? It'd probably be my daughter, Susie. Okay, well, what's Susie's at? And I'm writing out the application. I mean, there's nothing else really for us to debate and talk about. We've kind of solved every issue. We found a premium that's going to be affordable for her, and this is the best. So, I mean, just start filling out the application and then on to do the underwriting or phone interview or whatever you need to do. And so at that point, I go through, do the phone interview, and then you always ask, okay, well, we help a lot of people. I mean, a lot of times people pay a lot of money for life insurance that, they can maybe find at a better price. I'd be glad to help. Like I said, I work in this county and the surrounding counties. I don't know if you know, brothers or sisters or family. I'll be glad to help them. So that's the time of referrals. You can also, if you some folks give gift cards or something like that, you can let her know, and that if you offer gift cards. The only thing I would say, if you do that, you need to make sure that you do send the gift cards, that you do, honor anything that you offered. You make sure you do that. Scott, do you have anything you want?
One thing there, just right on that last part, one thing that I find a much easier way to get referrals to their family is in my initial warm-up, I do usually address, are you from this area? Do you have brothers and sisters here? Did your children stay local? I kind of get an assessment of if they have local relatives right here. And, kind of what age range, if we're talking kids, are they in their 50s or 40s, or how old are they, what do they do, and kind of get a picture of who they have local. So then at the very end, rather than ask for referrals, I'll say, your daughter and her husband, you said she works at the hospital, I'd love to talk to them about an insurance program we have for couples in their 50s that have kids at home. Do you mind if I would give them a call? And then instead of asking for a referral, you basically tell them, why don't I talk to your daughter about that? And then a lot of times they'll be right on your side. Oh, yeah, I wish she had more life insurance. And they really help you. They'll even call them and set the appointment for you. That works a lot better than just kind of leaving it as a blank. Do you have anybody else that I could talk to?
Yeah. Well, and that's the difference between Scott and I. I don't really care about referrals too much. I don't really ask for them because it kind of goes against my whole purpose of what I don't know. Because I don't think you get much of them anyway, and you end up spending you get some, but you spend a whole lot of time, doing that other stuff that I don't want to set 2-hour appointments. I set my appointments every hour on the hour. Like I said, you have to figure out what works best for you. But for me, I think I just essentially tell them that if you know anybody, I'll help them. I kind of let the presentation, what I done, kind of how you set the mode as far as what I did for you. I helped you find the best program that you can qualify for, where you get the most benefits. And then you can share that information if not. But otherwise, like I said, the whole thing with the presentation is that I'm here to help people. I don't have a lot of time. I don't rush through it. I don't want to say that, but I just we're busy. We got a lot of people to see, and I'm here to kind of diagnose your issue and kind of solve that and help you through it. And I don't sit, like I said, I don't go through and like some other folks may do, as far as go through and find out where all their kids work and when's everybody's next birthday and all that stuff. So it's kind of whatever is, like I said in the beginning, this is kind of just an outline for you. You can kind of.
Everybody has to kind of do it their own way. We have a different pacing of appointments. I do work way slower than Travis. I wish I was super efficient the way he is, but I'm trying to get more of the way that Travis is describing, where it's get in there and take charge and get right to the point, and you can see a lot more people. I work at a slower pace and a more conversational pace than probably what Travis is presenting here, and both ways work, but Travis knocks it out of the park as far as getting a lot more appointments done per day and having more days off. It gives you more free time. I work a lot more hours to do it the way that I'm doing it.
I know. And that was the driving force for me, I guess, in this. I don't know, for the last 3 years, I've worked less than 100 days running appointments. That's my goal. I want to be out in the field less than 100 days. So I try to get all the day I decide I'm going to work, I'm going to work. So I'm going to see as many people as I can see, because that day's, gone anyway. I've got young girls, and I like to. We do a lot of things. This is why I do this business. It's not because I like smelling cat hair and everything else. This affords me a life and a lifestyle second to none. That I can work less than 100 days a year and make unbelievable living. That's just the reason I do that. The reason I work at that pace, and then the mindset that I have when I run these appointments, and I'm trying to be as efficient as possible, and that's the reason why I buy leads, so I don't have to grovel. Obviously I think Medicare supplements, it's easy to get referrals, a lot easier in Medicare supplements. Life insurance, especially the folks that we deal with, it's out there, but it's not my strong suit. I don't have it doesn't work for me anyway. I probably could sit there all day, and Scott's probably a lot better at it than I am. Just the fact that our personalities, it's probably more conducive for him to get referrals than what it would be for me. Even if I tried, it just doesn't come across that well, or it's not that easy for me. Scott?
Travis, how many appointments is your goal to set for a day? When you sit down to set your appointments to have these presentations, how many is the ideal day for you?
I like to have 10.
10 in a day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have a heart attack if I had 10 appointments set. That's...
Yeah, back in the heyday with 5-Star, I used to be able to do, when there wasn't any phone interview things, that kind of slows it down. So if you look at now, there's phone interviews, that's an extra, 15 minutes on every appointment. So that kind of adds to what I was doing in the past. So yeah, it makes it tougher. But the other thing too is, and this is just me, and we talk, if there's nothing there, I leave. We're done. I don't know. I'm nice and we're friendly, but I got to go. I'm busy. I don't have time to sit there and talk to you all day, and you want to start talking about the president and healthcare. I don't care what your opinion is. I'm not being rude. I just don't have time to sit and talk. If you go to the cashier at Walmart, I just can't sit there and plop down, and she's working. That lady's working. She don't have time to sit there and listen to my viewpoints and things. I got to go. Just because I'm in your home doesn't mean I'm, your Buffalo Bill and me, keeping me captive, that I got to sit there and entertain your thoughts. There's been, you get some of these people, I get up and just walk. I don't care. You can be mad at me. I got to go. I don't have time. I do this to make a living for myself, my family. I don't get paid to sit and listen to your skewed viewpoints.
Yeah, a lot of them are pretty lonely, and they will sit there and tie up your time all day if you let them.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I had a good friend. He sat there. I couldn't get out of the house. What do you mean you couldn't get out? They have you They handcuff you? What do you mean? Well, they just kept talking. Well, hey, you don't have time to sit there and talk. That's not. There's no other profession, no other job that you can just sit there and meander and talk all day. That's. I mean, that's the mind. You're working. You got people to see. You don't have time, even though it's your own business and you're your own boss. And if you want to sit there all day, you could. You're not gonna make any money doing it. So I have no problem at all with interrupting somebody and say, hey, I gotta go. Have a great day. Appreciate it. Don't ever mail these cards in again. I'm out. So and I'm on to the next appointment. So it's important that you stay on task and on your schedule. Go ahead, Scott.
I didn't really have anything there, but it's that laser focus is what makes you so efficient at this, and that's what we all have to strive to be. Is keep your eye right on that ball. Are we moving forward, or are we just standing still here? And when it quits moving forward, you just have to cut bait and go to your next appointment. Why don't we open up the phone line, let people raise their hand. What do they push to raise their